Hope you're all ready to rock this bitch. I was about to say lock this bitch. That would be entertaining. It's time for some more The Ur-Quan Masters. Left you off on a little bit of cliffhanger. Let's resolve that and travel to the moon. Mortal Kombat! Luna. Let's auto-scan. Mineral scan reveals some minerals. There is an energy signature on board, on this surface of the moon, and there are some biological life forms as well. Well, no time like the present. Charge! Fuck you! Fuck you! You know, you don't want to destroy the... Fuck you! Your valuable mineral pickups. That's important not to destroy those. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! You're never taking me alive! Ah! Fucking Huggy! Ur-Quan! Fuck you! You enslaved the planet of Earth! I will not stand for this! Nor will I sit for this! Pew pew pew! Perhaps this is not as epic as I was building it up to be. That was pretty easy. Maybe they knew that we were coming. They hid from us. Right here. Report from surface. We have discovered an alien base and have explored its interior. The installation must have been abandoned many years ago, but great care has been taken to make it appear active. Life support systems are functioning, fusion generators are at full output, and robotic construction vehicles have been programmed to roam the lunar surface, bulldozing moon dust into random piles. In addition, we have found the installation's hyperwave locked in transmit mode, endlessly playing the same alien recording. Although we cannot translate the message, our Xenotech, Ensign Rigby, believes the message is some kind of alert or mayday broadcast. The base is filled with useful materials and equipment. We will scavenge as much as we can and bring it aboard immediately. End of report. We have successfully conquered the lunar base, everyone! Yes! We are gods! That calls for saving the game. Stick to a different slot this time. Alright, let us return to the Starbase, victors of everything forever. We are Winrars!
Have you dealt with the base yet?
We attacked the moon base and completely... No. Let's be honest with the man.
I'll be darned. All these years we've been listening to their incoherent broadcast, and we never even guessed. Captain, listen closely. Long-range sensors show...
by the way, if you have arachnophobia,
our computer identifies
stop watching this video. You can't enjoy the series.
I think you've got a fight on your hands, Captain. Your best bet is to wait.
It's your last chance.
Turn
away
Captain,
now.
It's jamming our signal.
By the fetid breath of the Dark Twin Kazan, a human and an alien starship. How fascinating. When I intercepted that Ur-Quan drone and learned that an unidentified starship had approached Earth, I never expected to find such a remarkable vehicle in the hands of a human. Humans are prey animals, weak and helpless. But here is a human in an armed starship, and therefore in direct violation of the oath of fealty. I am sure our masters, the Ur-Quan, will punish Earth most severely for this treachery when I present them with the twisted wreckage of your ship and your many charred corpses.
That sounds most unfortuitous. So yes. Meet the Ilrathe.
one of the battle thralls, which comprise the hierarchy of battle thralls, under which, you know, are the hierarchy of battle thralls serve the Ur-Quan. So yeah, there you go. It's kind of fucking creepy. It's like a skeleton. Don't think about it. So yeah, if you have problems with spiders, you may not wish to look, although it might not bother you that much. I mean, like beetles the size of a child's fist, metal slime hunted, and other people keep spamming that at me, expect me to be fucking bothered by it. Only in certain contexts, children. So I have options here. Just gonna let you know right now, it's... no. I could ask, though, where the hell did you come from? But that's not fun. I could ask, it will be a pleasure blasting your ugly face out of the stars. But that's not fun. I could say, surrender, foul alien creature, or you will be annihilated. Or I could say, look, let's be reasonable. We can coexist peacefully. Actually, you know what? I do like this. Where the hell did you come from? Because I'm into the sentence in the preposition. In a preposition. So perhaps you should say, where the hell did you come from? Bitch. Marcellus Wallace? I went there.
Since you will soon be dead, I will gladly explain.
Thank you.
We have spent many years gleefully preying on the Pakunka.
That's not cool.
They are a pitiful, easily killed species.
Most unfortuitous.
And we would have continued in this divine worship of Dogar and Kazon.
Yeah?
But we required additional crew members and repairs to our cloaking device.
They have cloaking devices,
we
folks.
departed the Jiglass constellation.
Alright.
And set course
Jiglass.
for home. But before
Remember
we
that.
had reached our region of space,
Yeah?
we detected the passage of a nearby vessel, the Ur-Quan drone.
How convenient.
It informed us about you, so here we are. And now, you die.
I don't think that's how it's gonna work, bro. Now, this combat is, slated to be easy. That doesn't mean it's not unlosable. You can lose it, but it's slanted in your favor. The Elrathi, if you fought them normally at this stage of the game, you would get raffle stomped. Primarily because of their cloaking device, which can be frustrating. And our ye-old flagship here, the Starluck, not quite equipped to do combat, really can't handle that much of anything, although against the our opponent here, the Avenger, the Elrathi class, whatever, the ship in question, even the Starluck can win. But we're actually going to be using our Earthling cruiser here, mainly because it should resolve the battle for us much better. It's a better ship right now than our flagship, which is like a fucking, like I said, a goddamn tugboat. So let's go ahead and show off how the combat will work. There's all sorts, like, it's like on a battle map, and you have like 2 alternate systems of fire, and you can move around and everything. It can be all sorts of intricate and cool and shit. But I'm just going to use my long-range missiles here on my Earthling cruiser and beat the shit out of this Elroth.
What a beautiful sight, Captain. I haven't seen an Avenger blown away like that since the battle in Draco.
Yeah!
I guess you've shown that you can handle yourself in battle,
Goddamn
Captain.
right.
So my last reservation about helping you has been dissolved.
Fuck yeah!
I will commit this station to helping free Earth and defeat the Ur-Quan.
Yeah!
We may get our atoms rearranged in the process.
No!
But by God, Captain, we're going to try.
Yeah!
So the obvious first step is to get the precursor equipment and software over
that's our
here
first
so
step.
that we can make it work with our ship repair
I was gonna say
fabricators.
pwn the Ur-Quan, but
then what,
alright.
Captain?
Then, Commander, we will proceed to kick some major alien butt. Trust me, Commander. I have a plan. A really good plan. For now, it must remain a secret. We will slowly build our strength, unify an allied Starfleet, and bring the Ur-Quan to their knee equivalents. I like that.
A sensible plan, Captain. Let's get to work.
Yeah!
By the way, Captain, I think we need a name for this
You're
new
right.
alliance we're
We
going to
do.
forge. And since it was your idea, it's only fair that you get the honor of naming it.
Sweet!
So, what will it be?
All these options are viable, and whatever you pick, you will have to stick with for the rest of the game.
The new alliance of free stars. The concordance of alien nations. The United Federation of Worlds. The Empire of Grimith. Wait, what?
One of these things is not like the other.
Which one could it be?
Yep, you can pick any of them, and he'll have, you know, his own different dialogues for each of the options. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the new Alliance of Free Stars.
It's the Alliance of Free Stars 2.0.
That was me making a troll face right there. I have no idea why exactly that applies. Like,
You jelly? You're not a part of the Alliance 2.0?
I don't know. Empire Grimith just sounds, lame.
Okay, that sounds pretty inspiring. So be it.
He sounds
The
pretty
new
inspired,
Alliance
doesn't he,
of Free
folks?
Stars. Now, Captain, I expect the configuration process for the Starbase to take at least 2
Shit.
weeks, so let's get to work.
Yeah. We're on a strict time budget. Well, not strict. There's a time limit in this game.
I have good news to report, Captain. We have successfully
I'll talk
integrated the
later.
precursor technology from your ship into our fabricator system, and as you can see, we've already begun minor repairs on your ship, patching up some of the micrometeorite holes. We noticed that your ship does not have an emergency warp escape unit, so our engineers rigged up some for you and each of your escorts. Now, you should be able to escape from a bad situation with the touch of a button. But there is a cost, however. The unit gulps up 5 fuel units each time your precursor ship uses it. Also, we now have a limited capacity to make modifications to your ship, to refine starship fuel, to build additional combat ships, and to train new members of your crew for the flagship and any ships you acquire for your fleet. Captain, I know you're eager to get to work, so I'll be brief. If you have any questions how this starbase works, what resources we need, or just some background information on the galaxy, don't hesitate to ask.
You know, I've already lost my fucking train of thought of what I was gonna say. I'm sure it was that important. Of course. I was distracted. I was listening to the fucking techno beat. I guess I'll come back to that later. Or maybe I'll try to do free association right now or something. I was talking about, combat system. I don't know. I'll have to look at the fucking video in question. So yeah, Commander Hayes here, I think that's his name. I've already forgotten that too. He's a commander for sure. It is your fucking font of information. Contains the wealth and knowledge of the gods. Alright! Yes! Sorry, that was my pin. There's a time limit in this game. I'm not going to reveal exactly when that time limit is. I don't really think that's actually revealed that much. In the old PC version of Star Control 2, it is. But there was no dialogue for it in the 3DO version. And the Ur-Quan masters, all of the written words match the vocal dialogue. So I don't think there's any clue at all in the game that there is a time limit. Although you should be able to notice if you look at the map, eventually. If you let things carry on too long, then bad things are happening. So yes, Commander Hayes here, fucking font of knowledge. He's your fucking guru. Anything you wanted to fucking know about anything, he'll fucking tell you. Well, not anything about anything. But you could spend a long time asking him about shit and hearing his responses. And the Starbase is quite important. If you're just a new player, you want to understand more about what you can do here. You have a lot of options open to you. The game really is open that way for you to figure out your own solutions to problems. And of course, you know, there's the ultimate, overarching storyline that eventually you've got to fix. But you have lots of optional options. Optional options, yes, along the way. Let's just move on. I have minerals to offload, so...
Not a bad job, Captain.
Thank you. You'll notice that my RU there, my resource units, went up courtesy of that. Now, before proceeding, I need some additional background information, Commander.
Certainly, Captain. What do you need to know?
Would you elaborate on your facilities here at the Starbase? There's gonna be a lot of dialogue here, folks. You might want to skip ahead.
We can modify your precursor ship, build additional combat vessels, and supply you with fuel and crew.
Good. Well, what can you do to enhance and modify the Starluck?
Our engineers and precursor specialists agree with the scientists from your world that your starship was designed to be a workhorse vehicle, which can be easily reconfigured for different missions by adding or swapping self-contained equipment packs, which we call modules. The modules we can build right now are thruster units, which make your ship move faster, attitude jets, which allow you to rotate the ship more quickly, crew pods, which provide life support facilities for up to 50 additional crew members, storage bays, which increase your ship's cargo capacity for mineral resources, fuel tanks, which hold an additional 50 units of fuel, dynamos, which feed energy into your combat energy batteries, improving your weapon's rate of fire. And last but not least, ion bolt guns, combat weaponry, the exact function of which depends on its location aboard the ship. When put in the first or front module slot, it fires a single shot forward. When put in the second slot, it fires 2 shots, spread to the left and right of center. When put in the third slot, it fires 2 shots directly, left and right. And when put in the last or rear slot, it fires a single shot straight backwards.
Oh. How will I get fuel for the Starluck, Commander?
This base is designed to serve as hierarchy
Doesn't
ships.
really help me.
Fortunately, your flagship
good.
uses the same stabilized antimatter technology as hierarchy vessels and will be able to synthesize what you need. However,
synthetic
due to
fuel!
the size of your ship, we'll have to produce vast quantities of fuel, which will be a substantial drain on our resources.
That's kind of depressing. Alright, well, in order to defeat the Ur-Quan, I'm gonna need a fuck ton of ships. Because obviously they raffle-pwned Earth, and, thought you guys had a lot of ships the way it is, or so I hear. I don't think my commander was specifically there. I think he was actually, born, off Earth. So he's like in his... In my case, he'd be under 20 then, wouldn't he? It's like my home system, as far as I'm aware. Fuck it. Whatever, let's just move on.
Our shipyard facilities are sophisticated and fully automated, permitting a handful of Starbase personnel to do the same job as 500 vac-suited construction workers. However, the only designs that we had in our computers were incomplete hierarchy ship designs. Things looked grim until one of the officers came forward with an amazing story. Even though the Ur-Quan destroyed every Earthling cruiser in the fleet nearly 20 years ago, one of my maintenance engineers was a Starship production assistant at the Detroit shipyard. When Earth was conquered, she was ordered to destroy all ship construction databases. But she secretly made copies of the blueprint discs and then kept them with her ever since. These discs contain all the data we need to build as many Earthling cruisers as you want, provided you, Captain, can supply the large amounts of mineral resources required to build those vessels. In theory, Captain, we could build alien starships here if we had designs for them. However, it's a well-known fact that alien vessels just can't be flown in combat without native starship captains at the helm.
Makes sense. How will you acquire additional personnel for my ship?
We have almost 2,000 highly motivated
Yeah!
professionals aboard this starbase.
Brainwash
Every single
all
one
of them!
Wants a berth aboard your
Don't
starship.
need to!
However, each hand we lose to your ship means less manpower here at the starbase, and this is reflected in the crew RU cost.
It's a fucking tutorial with the Starbase
Too many
Commander.
crew members to combat or planet exploration, the RU cost will remain static. But we have only so many warm bodies on this starbase.
What about
and if your
cold
needs
bodies?
For crew grow beyond
I'll
a certain
warm 'em up,
point,
it's okay.
The cost could increase dramatically.
It's kinda creepy. Warm body, that's not pertinent. No need to worry about the warm adjective, I'll take care of that. So yeah, everything you wanted to know about how to use the Starbase, and more!
As you know, Captain, we've committed the entire output of this station to building your flagship and your battle fleet into the strongest force possible. However, our resources are very limited, and we feel you must decide how we are to spend our effort and materials. To aid you in making these decisions, we have implemented a resource allocation scheme. We provide you with a numerical assessment of the station's resources and ascribe a cost to each task we can perform and each device we can build. It's up to you to decide how you're going to spend your resource units, or RU as we call them. To acquire more RU, you must bring resources back to the starbase. These resources can be either in the form of mineral ores gathered from planet surfaces or already refined metals and other valuable materials from the wreckage of enemy starships.
That's a lot of fucking responsibility, isn't it, folks? Like, holy fucking shit! I'm in charge of deciding everything!
The most straightforward way you can accumulate resource units is to bring mineral ores back to this starbase.
Yep.
There
Makes
are
sense.
probably enough resources in just the nearby dozen stars to build your ship into a powerful
I
battleship.
don't know about
or to
that.
create a strong task force.
Don't
and
know about
combat
that
vessel.
either, but okay.
I would also recommend that you build several additional storage bays.
Several.
When gathering minerals, focus on cleaning out one star system at a time. This way, you minimize the cost of travel through hyperspace.
Valid point. Valid point. What use are our planet landers' sophisticated lifeform analysis features? LOL.
While I respect your search for abstract knowledge, frankly, Captain, in our present circumstances, I see little use for such data here. Perhaps you could make use of biological information elsewhere.
Hint, hint. You've answered my questions on this topic.
What else can I tell you?
I would like some historical data. Children, fucking buckle up. If you want to know more about the background of this game,
What aspect of history,
I'm about
Captain?
to give you a fucking dose of history. Welcome to Ur-Quan 101. I would like to know about the other starfaring races.
Which group of aliens?
The member of the Old Alliance.
Okay. Which race?
Yeah. Are you excited? Yeah. Enjoy.
The Shofixti are a race of intelligent marsupials who had been civilized for only a few decades when the war began. They were discovered in the Delta Gorno star system by the Yehat, who adopted and then uplifted the Shofixti, giving them advanced technology and cultural definition. Shofixti are noble and fearless warriors, Captain. In addition, their incredible fecundity and rapid maturation rate kept Alliance ranks solid even at the worst part of the war. You know, I once flew as an observer aboard one of their ships on routine patrol. We never saw the enemy, but I could never stop thinking about the glory device it had strapped to the bottom of its hull. The Yehat are a race of ancient warrior clans that have been traveling the stars for many centuries. Clans are highly competitive and sometimes even wage war on each other, but the clans are all loyal to the Queen and her royal family, known as the Veepzeeps. The Veepzeeps have been in power for over 2,000 years, and it is said that during their rule, the Yehat never lost a battle. I'd like to think I'm not a bigoted person, Captain, especially when it comes to allies, but there's just something about those Arielu that gives me the creeps. One thing I'll say for them, though, they possess some technique for moving really fast through hyperspace. They never let us know what it was, but sure beats the pants off our fastest ships. The Chenjesu were leaders of the Alliance, even though they refused to accept formally the title. I don't know if their silicon-based biology is just plain superior to our old carbon models, or if their fantastic intellect were the product of an ancient, peaceful culture. Whatever the reason, I'd rather be taking orders from a Chenjesu than any other life form, absolutely. One of the more amazing things about them was they never used hyperwave communicators. They could send messages naturally, and their natural hyperwave receptors were much more sensitive than even our best units. We didn't really get much of a chance to learn about those mechanical beings, but I'll tell you what I know. They're the product of a distant, unknown culture who sent a giant factory arc into our region of space many centuries ago. The Mother Arc, that's what the Earth Press called it, turned out millions of robots and finally broke down. I don't know why the Myrnaherm didn't repair the Mother Arc. Maybe they can't. My personal guess as to why they were sent here is that they're on the leading edge of a colonization project. And once the Myrnaherm have tamed enough new worlds, the genuine colonists, whoever they are, will arrive and claim their due. Most raw recruits saw the Siren as nothing more than warm, breathing pin-ups. Warm they are, and yes, they do breathe most magnificently, but Captain, they are far more than simple joy units. The history shows the Siren established and maintained a peaceful culture from their Bronze Age through their discovery of starflight. Before their planet was destroyed in a horrible cataclysm, their world was an Eden.
So what do you think was more interesting out of that? The Murmur or, the Siren description from the Starbase Commander?
What other group of aliens are you interested in?
But we have more aliens to look at, folks. That's right, aliens.
Which species?
We have some battle thralls. Enjoy.
The Mycons are hard to get a handle on. In fact, I'm not sure any human has ever had a real conversation with a Mycon. What we know of them, we've learned from their corpses, which, I may add, have a nasty habit of coming back to life when thawed out from a decompression quick freeze. Mycon ships seem to expend a significant amount of energy on life support. This is probably because the Mycon only thrive in temperatures close to the melting point of lead. As far as we know, the Mycon are the only race to actively seek out the Ur-Quan in order to become combat slaves. Imagine facing a cowardly, mobile clam armed with a howitzer, and you've got a good idea of what it's like dealing with the Spathi. Although they tend to avoid battles as much as their masters will allow, once in battle, a Spathi eluder is one tough cookie. I once heard a rumor, though I don't like to believe in it myself, that a rogue band of courageous Spathi broke away from the main Starfleet, painted their ships black with bright red stripes, and formed the Black Spathi Squadron, dedicated to performing brave and hostile deeds. Like I said, I'd have to see it to believe it. It's unfortunate that the Umga fell to the Ur-Quan so early in the war, because I suspect we would have gotten along well with those big blob creatures. At the very least, it would have been entertaining. We know them a bit better than most races because they were eager to talk with our ships before, after, and during battle. The Arilu intimated that they had a relationship with the Umga before the Ur-Quan arrived, but I don't know any details. When I was flying combat missions along the Corward front, there was nothing we feared more than the Androsith hit-and-run squadron. Their blazer ships were more than a match for our cruisers, so we stayed clear of Eta Vulpeculae, their home star. In addition, I think each of us aboard the ship knew deep down in our hearts that the Androsith had a damn good reason for hating us. Our grandparents had kept them as slaves for nearly 50 years. I still have nightmares about those spiders taking me prisoner, using me as one of their 6 sacrifices to Dogar and Kazon, their twin gods of destruction and torment. Those guys were almost as scary as the Androsith to those of us in Deep Space Patrol. Their Avenger ships could appear out of nowhere and melt a cruiser down to slag in seconds. Luckily for us, the bulk of the Ilrath fleet was thrown against the Chenjesu and the Myrnaherm. The Starship Far Voyager under the command of Captain Jeffrey L. Rand encountered the Vux near Beta Mira. Although the details are hazy, it's generally accepted that Rand offended the Vux Starship Commander with an inadvertent insult. What other group of aliens are you interested in?
I hope you all been taking notes. There won't be a test, but there is the game. And all this background information can actually be useful, so you're not stuck with blindly exploring everything forever.
None that we had made formal contact with.
Oh.
The Chenjesu implied that they had met 2 other star-faring species, one near the Gickless constellation and the other directly Corward from Procyon.
Right.
The Arilu Lalile once mentioned having some fun with an alien race in Draconis, but like so much else with the Arilu, they never revealed the whole story. I'm sure there are hundreds more alien races in our galaxy, but beyond what I've told you, your guess is as good as mine.
Why do you think I got a pen and some index cards out, folks? I'm taking notes.
Would you like
I'm not
information
doing
on
it
any
blind.
other aspect of
You
history?
fucking kidding me? Now, I am interested in the war against the hierarchy.
What about the war?
How did the war start?
Earth got involved late in the game in 2112 when the Chenjesu arrived in our solar system for the first time. So let's back up a few years to 2098 when the Chenjesu super-sensitive receivers detected a strange signal from the Ophiuchi constellation. Though even the Chenjesu didn't know it, it was the first sign of the Ur-Quan's arrival. The Ur-Quan, having detected the presence of many sentient species, were beaming out an exulting hunting cry. The first direct evidence of the Ur-Quan's intent was the sudden conquest of the Umga, a solitary though not unfriendly species in the Orionis constellation. The Chenjesu, distraught by the invasion, were further angered when the Ur-Quan turned their fleets on the hostile but weak Ilrath race. A hastily assembled defense force of Myrnaherm and Chenjesu vessels turned the Ur-Quan fleet aside, but the invader moved into Spathi space, rapidly subjugating that race. With each new conquest, the Ur-Quan fleet grew larger as it added slave vessels to its ranks. Earth joined the Chenjesu to form the Alliance of Free Stars at about the same time as the Androsynth stars fell to the Ur-Quan armada. Before the ink was dry on our agreement with the Chenjesu in 2116, a new race appeared in orbit around the moon and asked for admittance to the Alliance. It was the Arilu Lalile. Timing seemed unusual, and the Arilu were definitely weird, looking like saucer men from Mars, but we were too busy cranking up our mothballed heavy industry that we really didn't pay it much attention at the time. At the start of the war, here on Earth, we were working like crazy, churning out hundreds of heavy cruisers and smaller support vehicles. The Ur-Quan were busy too. Unbeknownst to us, they had moved down towards the Luton Star Group and were attacking the Vux, who only the Yehat knew existed. Our botched first contact with the Vux took place in 2119, and it was the biggest single mistake we made during the war. After defeating the Vux, the Ur-Quan fleets ran smack into the combined might of the Yehat and Shofixti, supported by the first wave of our cruisers. Again, the Ur-Quan turned away from the hard spot to attack the weak, though we just thought they were running away. In fact, the Ur-Quan had found another independent alien race, the Mycon, in the Brahe constellation. The Mycon's voluntary submission to the Ur-Quan brought the return of the Ur-Quan fleets, now swollen with 100 devastating Mycon pod ships. The last entrants to the conflict were the Cyrene, a race of space gypsies who had escaped the hierarchy by moving their vast fleet of slow-moving habitats into human space. With the side set, the last Ur-Quan offensive began. The Ur-Quan came roaring through Vux space and tried to push past the India and Mira star systems. Their onslaught was barely repulsed, and our counterattack made hardly a dent on the hierarchy forces, but we held the line. The coreward front remained intact. Over the following 10 years, there were many great battles between the combined Alliance Starfleet and the Ur-Quan and their hierarchy of battle thralls. Then in 2134, a dramatic shift in the balance of power took place. This must have been about the time the science research mission was sent to the planet of Vela. Our fleets were pushed back from the Indy-Mira line beyond Raynet. Holding Rigel caused grievously in Chenjesu forces, and the Ur-Quan, recognizing this weakness, shifted to focus the brunt of their forces on Procyon. That was the last we heard from the Chenjesu and the Murnaher. A few weeks later, waves of ships hit us from all directions. When Ceres Station, our outpost on the asteroid belt, fell to the hierarchy, we knew we were beaten, but we fought on anyway. 3 days later, the Ur-Quan vaporized our last remaining laser forts on the moon, and the dreadnoughts took up geosynchronous position above Rome, Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, London, Buenos Aires, and Washington. We'd lost the war, and we knew it. But the Ur-Quan decided to make it real clear. And that's why if you check any of our most recent maps, you won't find Buenos Aires.
God damn it, Buenos Aires! Stop getting vaporized in science fiction media!
After the UN submitted their formal surrender, we were given a week to decide the nature of our servitude. The Ur-Quan demanded that the decision be made through popular vote. When all the votes were tallied, Earth had chosen not to fight for the Ur-Quan. We had become a fallow slave world. We were given a month to withdraw all of our people and equipment to Earth. Anyone or anything left off-planet would be destroyed after the shield went up. Then the Ur-Quan broadcast an odd message. All objects of human construction more than 500 years old were to be abandoned. We didn't know what the Ur-Quan meant until they moved their dreadnoughts into new orbital positions and opened fire on the surface with their fusion weapons. In seconds, large sections of London, Paris, and other European cities were incinerated. At first, we thought they were going to annihilate us after all. And we noticed they were also striking such targets as the Giza Pyramids, the Parthenon in Athens, and Stonehenge. Curiously, the United States was almost untouched. The flaming rain lasted 40 hellish hours. It took days after we crawled from our smoldering shelters to realize what the Ur-Quan had done. Our new masters had targeted every building, monument, or other man-made construction older than 500 years and destroyed it. In those 2 days, we lost most of the history of mankind. In some cases, the Ur-Quan destroyed places we did not even suspect were significant. From their positions in orbit, the dreadnoughts blew away a kilometer of land in central Iraq, vaporized several targets in the Amazon rainforest, punched a big hole through the Antarctic ice cap to destroy something deep under the surface, and melted a broad swath of the ocean floor in the southeastern Atlantic. Then, just a couple of days later, the shield went up, and our contact with the outside world stopped. The next time I saw the stars was 8 years ago, when I was transferred up here to be the new commander of this starbase. Would you like any information on any other aspect of history?
Sure! What about some ancient galactic history, folks? You interested in that? Oh, come on. Don't moan and groan. If you haven't already, you can just go ahead and skip ahead to the next video. We're just going to continue to talk with the Starbase Commander. It's okay.
We have some data on this subject. What do you want to know about?
I want to know about the precursors.
Well, you probably know more about them than I do, but here goes. About 200,000 years ago, when our great to the nth grandparents were just starting to play with stone knives and bearskins, a star-faring species suddenly appeared on the galactic scene and spread like wildfire. We found evidence of their presence just about everywhere, from an orbital platform on Alpha Centauri to a stack of data plates in a cave on Pluto to some nameless widget found in a voodoo shop in New Orleans. Though we never found a precursor body or even a picture of one, we can conjecture what they look like by examining the scale and layout of their equipment. Such an analysis indicates they were giants, say 5 to 8 meters tall and twice as wide. I don't know if they looked more like a brontosaur or an elephant. Anyway, about 3,000 years after the precursors made their dramatic appearance, they vanished. Poof! As far as we can tell, it took less than a decade to happen. You mean besides the precursors? Well, the only information we have is secondhand based on some research by a Chenzesu historian that I read at the academy. Zed-Sert-Sek, the historian, found some evidence that there was a group of alien races who formed an interstellar empire not too far from here about 22,000 years ago. The only species in this empire actually lived in our region of space was a race of rock-like creatures that lived in the Vulpeculae constellation. The presence of the hostile androsynth in that part of space severely limited Zed-Sert-Sek's research. He never even found out the race's name. Yes, there is. Aside from the precursor relics we have found on Earth, often in museums mislabeled as modern art, we've discovered disturbing evidence of much more recent visitation. Perhaps you're already aware that during the mid to late 20th century, there were unaccountable UFO sightings as well as dozens of reported encounters with alien life forms. Although we can discount many of the reports as wishful fabrication or traumatic translation, the military authorities of the time kept a secret record of the incidents which were legitimate. In each such case, the aliens are almost identical in appearance. They have white skin and minimal facial features except for huge almond-shaped eyes, which are often described as glowing or luminescent. This description fits almost perfectly the Ur-Lalile. In most of the legitimate encounters, the people involved describe being physically examined or modified by the aliens. In some cases, unusual pregnancies occurred, and in almost every instance, there were repeat visitations as though the Ur-Lalile were doing checkups on their subjects. We never got the chance to confront the Ur-Lalile about what they did to us and why. I wonder if we ever will.
That's a fucking obnoxious name, by the way, isn't it? Ur-Lalile. I'd rather pronounce it's a Murloc. Yes, the Chenjesu and the Murlocs.
Would you like information on any other aspect of it?
No, I think we're covered on history.
Anything else?
But there is one more final section, which is asking the Starbase Commander how we can defeat the Ur-Quan. This will be the final section of, I think, this video.
Can you be more specific?
Sure! Where can I find the most useful, plentiful mineral resources?
If you have the patience, I would recommend you spend several months or even a year gathering mineral resources. You can find such minerals on almost any planet's surface, but the quality and density will vary depending upon the type of planet you're on. Base metals are probably the most common materials you'll find, but they aren't particularly valuable. You can find rarer precious and radioactive elements on metal-rich worlds such as Mercury. An old miner once told me that you could tell the relative quality of a planet's minerals based on the planet's color as seen from space. To remember the color sequence from good to bad, the miner had a mnemonic that went something like, very young orangutan could grow bananas perhaps rather well. It is also the case that mineral yields will be better at hotter stars. Temperature is related to the size and color of a star. Red stars are the coolest, then orange, yellow, green, blue, and the hottest stars are white. That all depends on whom you meet, doesn't it, Captain? Well, in all seriousness, if you encounter the Ilrab, Vux, Androsynth, or other hierarchy battle thralls, I wouldn't hold out much hope for a peaceful encounter. So if you feel you have the advantage, attack. The resources you will scavenge from the enemy's wreckage are well worth the effort. If you can find Alliance races who are in a position to help us, then you must convince them to join with us. Their assistance may be crucial to our success. Let's see. You need to build up and balance the strength of your flagship. I would add thrusters up to, say, 5 or 6. Speed is essential in combat, but it would also pay off over the long haul in hyperspace. And if you prefer to avoid confrontation, nothing beats a great pair of legs. I would add turning jets for increased maneuverability.
What about a great pair
of... I would add enough weapons to defend yourself if you're caught without escort ships. You need additional fuel, at least 50 units. Your weapons will be underpowered in combat if you don't have at least 1 dynamo. Use the resource units you have accumulated to improve your flagship. Captain, I wish I had an easy answer, but I don't. The only way I can see of liberating Earth as well as the Alliance allies is to destroy the Ur-Quan and their armada of battle thralls entirely. To defeat our enemies, we will need awesome strength, both in your flagship and the fleet, as well as the assistance of powerful new allies. Though combat will be unavoidable and sometimes necessary to achieve our goals, I'm certain your wits will be at least as important as your weapons. You'll need to explore this region of space, gathering resources and information wherever you go. I don't know, Captain, but I suspect their battle thralls know more than we do, so I suggest you try to gather information from them, perhaps by force. At first, your ship will be far too vulnerable to permit frontal assaults on the Ur-Quan. Even when your ship is at full power, we're faced with the reality that the hierarchy has thousands of ships. You cannot win the fight alone, Captain. You need allies. Also, towards the end of the war, when the hierarchy broke through the Corward front, we heard rumors that the Ur-Quan had unleashed some kind of super weapon which was unstoppable by normal means. You need to find out if that rumor was true, Captain, because if the Ur-Quan do have such a weapon, we'll have to find some way to stop it, or all our efforts are for naught.
Hint, hint, hint.
If you encounter an unknown alien race, proceed carefully and diplomatically. We need all the friends we can get, and we certainly can't afford any more enemies.
Enemies aren't
Remember,
free.
Captain, with your precursor starship, you hold
Perhaps
awesome
they cost
power,
negative money.
But there will be situations when dealing with an alien race where a carrot will serve better than a stick. First,
so
you
they're
must
rabbits.
determine what carrot the alien wants.
What is the fastest way for us to build up our strength?
You need to accumulate enough resources so we can build up your flagship and assemble a strong fleet. I'd also recommend that you acquire blueprints for other, more powerful ships than our trusty cruiser. I suspect the aliens will not give you such prints unless you form an alliance with them.
Alright, let us move on to another topic.
What else can we discuss?
I have learned what I need to know.
What else can I tell you?
I do not require additional information, Commander.
Fine. Is there anything else you need?
Goodbye, Commander.
Be careful out there, Captain.
Will do. Alright, folks. Whew. Fucking history lesson there. I certainly can't blame anybody for wanting to skip past that. For those of you who forgotten about the game or just didn't know a whole lot, hopefully you've learned more. Now here's our Starbase menu, where we can consult with the Commander again. We can outfit our starship or journey to ye olde shipyard. As I said, this would be the discussions there would make the conclusion for the video. All I will do is save the game, right ya, and coming back, we're going to maybe re-outfit our starship, or play around the shipyard, I don't know, we'll have to find out next time.